All right, so thank you everybody for joining. I'm sure some people will continue to pop in. It's about 12 o'clock right now. We want to respect everyone who is here today. Thank you for joining the webinar with WinCourse and Star to Star, and taking some time out of your busy schedules to join us during lunchtime for most people. For those of you on the West Coast, thank you as well for jumping on. Everybody that's on here today, we will be following up with a Grubhub gift card to accommodate your time here. So with that being said, I just want to make a quick introduction. My name is David Warner. I'm the sales manager at WinCourse Technologies, and we are used to primarily be a major Citrix, Microsoft, Sonic Wall shop, and we've recently partnered with Star to Star as they really play a strategic role with a lot of their technologies that align with our strategy for customers today. And a lot of notions with VoIP here coming out, people working remote and going into these hybrid solutions. So, brief intro to WinCourse. We provide customized solutions to our organization's desktop, cloud, workspace solutions, really working with these hybrid and remote new tools. We also provide 24/7, 365 domestic support to our private cloud users with private cloud in Charlotte, North Carolina, Louisville, Kentucky, Denver, Colorado, and WinCourse has really been known to get in there and make technology work for businesses. Alongside of me today, I have Jeff Wilton, who's one of our channel directors over at Star to Star, and I'm going to turn this over to Jeff to introduce himself, and then of course walk us through Star to Star here this afternoon.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate it, my friend. Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Jeff Wilton. I'm the Strategic Channel Director for Star to Star, covering our enterprise and our channel partners across the East Coast here. I appreciate you guys joining us today. Today, we want to talk about Star to Star as a whole, our partnership with WinCourse, and some of the value that we've been driving to our customers. Really, Star to Star is a cloud native communications and collaboration company. We recently merged with Sangoma to become a global presence in terms of how we can fulfill and service our customers around the world. Typically, Star to Star is a voice provider, right? But in the last recent years, we have really made it a strong effort to not only partner with different service providers like WinCourse, but also with different technology providers and vendors like Citrix, right? What we want to focus on is how can we take communication, integrate it down into the workflows and the business applications that you use as a business every day to make yourselves, not only operational, but efficient, and obviously bring better care to your customers. So we're not going to read through all of this here, but a couple of things that we wanted to take note of in terms of Star to Star is our 5 nines of uptime. So that really lends to the resiliency of the backbone and obviously the redundancy that we provide in terms of our voice services. We've got 750 channel partners around the world, over 300 employees now, doubling that in our merger. And another thing we want to really focus on here is our 99.4% customer retention rate. Really that lends to the quality of the product, the relationships that we build with our customers, and ultimately, once you're on a Star to Star platform, our customers usually stick it out for the long haul. So I know we only have 30 minutes here. I want to keep this thing flowing, and just to sort of highlight some of the customers that we have out there in the marketplace. As you can see, we truly are vertical agnostic, and although we do not focus on one specific vertical, we add a lot of different values to different players, whether you're a retail or a food chain, whether you're in healthcare or even a not-for-profit, and then even going as far as financial, legal. We really do have an agnostic solution that learns about the customers, ultimately, the services and the business that they provide, and trying to integrate our communications into those workflows to give a greater customer experience. And obviously, we'll talk to some of the other value propositions moving forward. Before I go any further, I wanted to extend a quick poll question. We'll have 3 quick poll questions just to gauge the temperature of the customers, the attendees on here, and really make sure that we're talking in terms of the things that are important to you. So if you look, I'm going to launch really quickly a poll. Let me know if you can see that, David.
Yep, we can see it. We can see it. And while you're doing this as well, if anybody has questions throughout this presentation, I meant to mention this in the beginning, please use the chat function, and we'll have some time at the end of this to go through and answer any Q&A.
Very good. Awesome. So I'll give it just another second here, but it seems, pretty one-sided in terms of some of the responses. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out for everyone and then move on to the next one here. Alrighty, so poll question number 2. Everyone should now be seeing that on their screen. This one's got a little bit more in terms of the options, so I'll give you guys some time to read and digest. Okay, got a mixed bag here. We're seeing a heavy submission of the collaboration apps. So Teams, Slack, Skype, Google Meet. I know that obviously probably doesn't come as a surprise, just seeing as the remote world that we're living in. All right, we're getting some diversity here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close this one out. Thanks, everyone. And we've got one last one before we really get into the meat of this thing. All righty, last one. All right, seeing a nice split here. We're tied. First 3, simplified management, integrated soft phone, reduced costs, all neck and neck. Alrighty. So things have calmed down here a little bit. I appreciate everyone giving their input, and obviously we'll be touching on all of these things as we move forward. Okay, so moving on, now we want to sort of set the stage, right, in terms of, what's the purpose of this call, and it really focuses on, today's IT landscape and this overarching shift to the cloud. Obviously, everyone has heard the COVID story, and it has affected everyone's business in one way or another, right? And a lot of that has been sort of on the backs of, hey, how do I take my users and make them remote? What's that going to cause for me as an IT manager or as a business to be able to manage these users and not only, keep the experience high in terms of how we engage our customers, but then also, there are security factors and other things that we want to notice. So 50% increase in spend on the cloud, and it's looking like it's only going to increase as we move forward and sort of redefine the way that we work. And with that comes, cloud adoption, right? And overall, the reason we want to bring this up is just because we understand that you guys are thinking of this. And then with this shift, right, comes many different industry challenges. Everyone is familiar with these in one way or another, and all of them probably, are relevant to you in some way or another. Everyone is trying to reduce costs in today's world. A lot of people are moving away from that capital expense and going more as a pay as you go model. But how do we do that while maintaining simplicity, right? We want it to be easy for our users to access, whether it's the applications, but then also to communicate externally and have my customers, communicate internally with me. And how do I field those? And how am I more intelligent about how I service those customers? And that sort of lends to user adoption, which all together lend to, hey, how can I have someone either currently in my company or attract new people? How can I get them productive as quickly as possible? How can I, build out a remote and a mobile staff without sacrificing some of the things, that protect the business and help really towards growth, which lends to the last one in security. I mean, Dave, we were just talking about this, I know, and there's a lot that's been going around, whether it's ransomware or just really being present in terms of what are these technologies and how do they affect, the security of the business.
Yeah, and the big thing with security, I know that we're hearing with a lot of our customers, and like you said, Jeff, we spoke about this a little bit earlier, is everybody's adding new tools, new solutions, right? Businesses and organizations are still trying to figure out, are we working remote? Are we going to a hybrid model? Are we bringing people back into the office, right? So there's all these new conversations of what's the new normal. And then you have these new challenges around security, and it's how do we stay ahead of, those people that want to attack us, right? And I think that's a big conversation, finishing out this year and heading into next year as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we wanted to take the time and sort of double down on that, right? So how is Star2Star in team with WinCourse secure? So there's a couple different ways just in terms of the industry that you're in. We're HIPAA compliant. We've got our GSA certification, PCI compliance for some of those finance institution, and then overall sustainability, right? We've got a really redundant and a solid backbone in terms of our voice network. And then we've even gone a little bit farther, right? Hey, we understand that WinCourse is a big Citrix player. They've been a Citrix partner for as long as I can remember. So we went and partnered up with Citrix, understanding, hey, they have a value proposition in how, their customers access their apps and data, but we don't want voice running side by side, creating harder management, less visibility into how your users are communicating internally and externally. So we went and got Citrix Ready certified. We're the only UCaaS provider that has been able to do so. So a couple things here on the right. I don't want to bore you with, slide reading, but we've been able to restrict communication channels to and from Star2Star predefined networks, only allowing communication out of the customer network from devices and extensions that have been defined. And then we pass that data traffic to customer firewall for standard data filtering and analysis. So we really just wanted to lend this to you guys to instill some confidence that security is still at the forefront of everything that we do and all the products and services, that we offer to our customers. And ultimately, it's staying on theme, right? In terms of this shift to the cloud, what does this mean? Like, what are the outcomes, and how is it that Star2Star is accomplishing these things in such a fast-moving and changing marketplace? And so, as we know, businesses are turning to technology services as a way to reduce those costs. How do I make my life easier as a business owner or as an IT manager? And then, considering those things, how do I improve that productivity across the business so that I can go and step out of that IT, function and get really towards what service or what function does my business want to provide my customers, and how do I do it at a high level? So the way that Star2Star really is attacking that is through our API integrations. One of the values that Star2Star has in terms of, our competition and some of the other players in the market is we own the complete stack in terms of our solutions, right? So what does that mean? Hey, we don't have to go through third parties to integrate into your CRM system, or maybe it's your ERP, or maybe you're a hotel that has a PMS, right? Because we have that flexibility and that ownership, very easily we can take, whether it's our traditional telephony services through UCaaS, maybe you've got a phone on a desk, maybe a soft phone on your mobile, and we'll talk about some other integrations there. But how do I pull that data from the applications that matter to me that make my business go round? Or maybe I've got a support team and I want to know, who am I fielding these calls from? How do I have that communication with more context and more data repository, so that as we move forward, those touch marks or those touch points are adding a data trail so that we can better service our customers on call 2 or 3. So that's been a huge focus for us, and we lean on partners like WinCourse and their primary functions to be able to integrate and bring that telephony into their workflow and create those efficiencies. And that can be done, like I said, through traditional telephony. We can do that through a contact center solution, or even a video conferencing, which I know everyone has become increasingly reliant on. So what's a way that we do that is relevant to the audience here? Like I said, we are a Citrix Ready voice solution. We are on the Citrix Ready marketplace for our soft phone, our present management tool, and we've got even more on the roadmap in recent days in terms of our contact center and other solutions, right? So multiple products, Citrix Ready verified, and more in the pipeline. Whether that's phone, video, meeting, or present management, we want to be able to take these communication solutions and roll them into your Citrix desktop to give you a single experience that maintains that security and makes it that much easier for you to onboard and manage existing users, right? And then we're constantly developing new Citrix micro apps that are going to simplify workflows. So for an example, we have an integration with Salesforce that would allow for call pops, that would allow for, pulling that data from Salesforce based on the person that's reaching out to you, and being able to leave notes and have that push and pull experience right there within the application that runs your business, right? Dave, anything you want to add here? Because I know obviously Citrix is a high focus for you, but we don't want to stick to that single thread. I know a lot of people maybe aren't there in their journey yet.
No, you're absolutely right. It's not just Citrix. I think we'll get into some more of the solutions. I know when we had the poll questions, it sounded like a lot of people were actually discussing Teams, Slack, some of these other tools, which obviously all work and run well within a Citrix environment. The other big thing is too, I'm seeing some questions about, if they're already a Citrix customer and they don't want to leverage it in a remote desktop, which we can answer at the end. Like you can use this solution with Citrix outside the desktop. There's many ways to actually get the best of Star2Star, which is nice.
Absolutely, right. And then we want to maintain that flexibility, and we really want to empower you as a customer and a user to be able to do the things in which fulfill your users in the best way. Right now, naturally, you're going to want some control, and there's an access discussion that comes with that, and protecting the network. But ultimately, how do you guys function? What's going to be the easiest way to adopt those? And then how do you create efficiencies and additional workflows on the other side of it? So I'm really glad you brought up the Microsoft Teams thing. That this has been something that, me personally out talking to customers and with partners has been very, very sort of hot, so to speak. So what we've done is we've taken our leading voice and collaboration solutions, and we have embedded our soft phone directly into Microsoft Teams, right? So that's going to be able to optimize that productivity, give you that seamless experience. Now, instead of, and I typically put, these voice solutions in two buckets. You've got your collaboration, which is really focused on that internal discussion, right? Maybe it's across teams, maybe you've got a war room, maybe it's your support guys or whatever that business function in. If you're legal, you've got, some cross sharing in terms of documents, but then there's communication, right? And that's really that external focus. So we know Microsoft Teams is great, and even they have their dial plan, but by no means is Microsoft a voice solution, right? So they actually welcome the partnership and the integration with Star2Star to embed our fully redundant network backbone right into the Teams client, so that now you can receive calls right within that Teams experience, host your voicemail, be able to transfer blindly, and some of those workflows now right in that single container that so many businesses now going remote rely on a day-to-day and maybe even an hour-to-hour basis, right? And so this not only extends into the desktop experience, but that Teams application that you have on your mobile, now through a business phone, you are able to field those calls wherever you are, and you can do so with the confidence that you're going to have really, really high voice quality. So that's been a very, very big topic for us, and a lot of customers that are on Microsoft Teams, or maybe that are thinking of making that jump, have been very, very happy with, and just the quality of the solution and on the backs of Microsoft optimization. And then in Teams with Citrix, now you're really talking about a full suite that makes it that much easier for your customers and your employees to engage with each other. And moving on, obviously, we know not everyone is there, like I said, right? Not everyone has Microsoft Teams. Not everyone's a Microsoft shop. Maybe you're a small business that just isn't there yet or can't justify that cost. Well, Star2Star has an answer for that, right? So we have what's called our Team Hub solution, which is an integrated communications platform. So now, let go of that email, let go of some of those antiquated ways or those old ways of communicating. And now you're able to share, collaborate files internally. You're hosting your soft phone in there, your voicemail, your digital fax. You can break out into side rooms like a Slack. So really if Slack and Microsoft Teams and then say, a soft phone were to all roll into one, now you have that full experience that can extend into your applications and really just give you that one-stop shop to be able to collaborate and then communicate, with your customers or constituents, whoever that might be, right? So we wanted to highlight this just because we know not everyone is a Microsoft shop, and we want to be able to, still give you that experience without having to, maybe make that big step just yet. So now we'll sort of just switch gears and get a little bit down into the specifics of, hey, what are some of these solutions? Let's understand, what could I adopt today to make my life easier? So we've of course got our soft phones. We've got our iOS and Android soft phone. Like I said, if you're a Teams user, then these will plug right into that Teams application, and they won't, it will be that single experience. But if you're not, we obviously have a soft phone application that has a business number, wherein, say you're a lawyer and you work crazy hours and you don't want to get a second device. Now you can sort of compartmentalize that business and separate it from the personal, so that you can field those calls wherever you are on the mobile device of your choice. And then secondly, the desktop soft phone, right? Now you can do everything right from that computer experience. You're not having to sort of fumble across and say, oh, my desk isn't even quite big enough for a hard phone. I'll probably have to upgrade at some point, but I don't have to get up and walk across the room to answer my hard phone. It's going to give me that notification right here on my desktop. And considering we're Citrix Ready certified, we can work inside or outside of that experience, just sort of pulling that all into, the device that you use every day that sort of makes your business world go round, so to speak. Another thing that we want to focus on, which obviously has become increasingly, more of an attractive solution, is a text messaging solution. So that's SMS and MMS numbers. So you'll do this again from that same business number. I've got some friends that own a real estate company, and what some of the biggest concern is when they're communicating with some of these potential buyers and sellers, they really have a lot of concern in terms of, hey, I don't want to give my personal number out. I don't want to be, on call 24/7. I want to be able to field those and decide, hey, listen, I can field that and business doesn't stop for me, but not everyone works that way. So now create that relationship through a text messaging solution that to the end, to the person you're speaking with, there's no difference, right? It looks like any other text, but now you're able to containerize that. You're able to protect those data and that data and those customers. Say someone leaves, now you're able to keep all of that information and repurpose it so that you can continue that relationship moving forward. All right, moving through here, because I know we're short on time, is our contact center solution. So this is a great way for, now not everyone is a contact center or has a full-blown contact center within their business, but everyone wants to have greater visibility, greater historical data and reporting in terms of, hey, if someone's reaching out to me, if I'm a doctor's office, I want to know, one, hey, through a nice auto attendant, how did they reach me? How did that call go? What was the length of that call? How can I take those and create efficiencies? We're all through a web-based platform that doesn't require any downloads, but still keeps that same redundant, network that creates, that ultimate confidence in the experience, right? So leverage a solution tailored to the business workflows and streamline the access. You've got that really smart insight. So you're monitoring metrics. You understand pause time, talk time, calls waiting in queue, available agents. And with this nice supervisor monitor, you understand, hey, who's on a break, who's doing their job, who's loafing around, and that's just going to create for a better experience ultimately for the people reaching out to you and the people that you're engaging with. So we say all of this. Sorry, you're going to get this on the next slide too in terms of our contact information. But I wanted to talk to just, some use cases here. Obviously, like I said, we're vertical agnostic. So it does not matter, the vertical that you play in. VoIP services have so much value in terms of the flexibility, the mobility that businesses need in order to stay agile, in order to stay competitive. But recently, we've had a bunch of wins in the healthcare space. This really has been focused around, hey, how do I create a better patient experience? How are we making sure that through a smart and calculated auto attendant that the patients are getting where they need to, regardless of where maybe those providers may sit, right? So healthcare has been huge for us. In financial, a lot of that is seasonal, and when it's high and the volume is high, obviously you don't want just for one person to be unavailable for you to lose that client. So giving that flexibility to be able to field those calls, to have internal collaboration, to share documents and understand, hey, where's the market today versus yesterday? So a lot of that flexibility has been helping our financial customers out there in the market. And then I spoke on legal a little bit, but this is how you create a meaningful client relationship, right? You have a more personal touch. You're highly available. You're able to leverage some of these solutions ultimately to engage with those people in those cases that, every legal entity is working on multiple things at once, and they want to be able to prioritize that intelligently, but also stay super available, right? And create those meaningful client relationships that could last forever. But, we say all those things, but when it comes to small and medium businesses, it really doesn't matter the size that you are. What you want stays the same, right? I want to be able to communicate with these people. I want them to be able to reach me in an intelligent way. I want this to help my business flow so that I can understand, who are these people? How did they find me? How do I more easily engage with them in the future? And then also, how can these tools help me grow my business and scale, considering the limited number of resources, right? And that's where WinCourse is awesome in terms of creating that partnership, allowing the business to get away from those day-to-day mundane IT tasks, the updates, and just the management of that, and go focus on what your business is trying to accomplish and the service that you're trying to bring down to your customer, right? And these all come in terms of different drivers, right? Maybe I just want to be more productive. I'm sick of not having the visibility as to who my people are talking to, how those conversations are going. And I just want a more productive workforce. And some of that goes on the back of mobility. But in all reality, we want this to be a business continuous solution. I don't want to have to worry about the quality of this. I know that if I lose this one call, it could mean that customer's business to me. But all of these things, we can't forget the fact that I've got a cost, right? I need to maintain a profitable business, and I want to reduce that cost, but be able to scale and grow. So I just think that all of those drivers can lend really to any vertical, and ultimately, we want to engage with you to figure out what that perfect solution looks like and be able to tailor make it according to what those things are. David, I know we talked about this earlier today. Is there anything you kind of want to add here?
No, I mean, I'll just add to the point where the nice thing about these solutions, right, with them being, a SaaS offering that's available, is scalability. And the fact that, working with Star2Star, WinCourse, we can customize solutions, whether you're one user just out there getting started as a business, right? You have a lot to lose as well, as a small business, personal information, things like that. So working with Star2Star and WinCourse to customize and scale your business, that's going to be what's going to lead you to the next, to the next step there. And it all comes back to security,
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, that's, again, a big topic, right? How can you be
Absolutely
cost effective, but have the best security and the best tools for your workers, and retain those great workers as well?
Absolutely. And I know that's, in this job market, it's become increasingly more important to keep high talent, and by giving them a modern and mobile solution, that's a great way to start. So I know we're running out of time here, and we've talked about a lot of different solutions, and you may be wondering, okay, so which one of these is a fit for me? Do I have to do one? Do I have to do all? Ultimately, we just want to show you that we really are a platform as a service. We don't play in point solutions like some of the competitors do. We really want to create that experience across the different platforms and the tools that make your business go round, and obviously add to that scalability. So these are just highlighting the different places that we play and the platform across the UC stack. So yeah, obviously engage us if you're interested in any of these. We'd love to talk to you about the things that we've done and some of the changes that we've been able to help our customers make in order to adopt some of these, business outcomes. And lastly, like I said, we just gave you a lot of information in a really short time, and you may not know, hey, how do I go from where I am today to where you guys are telling me I need to be? There's one way that we can do that in a really non-threatening way is send us your phone bill, right? Let us see what you have today, the cost that you're making. What I can tell you in doing this exercise is we've been seeing anywhere from 30% or higher in terms of cost reduction. And then also just in terms of the platform as a service, there's so much extra functionality that maybe you didn't consider in terms of how do I market better? How do I, create automation that maybe I hadn't considered before? So if you're interested at all, send us your bill. We'd love to analyze it and send you a competitive quote. And then obviously dive in a little bit deeper to make sure that you're getting the things that you need in order to step away from the day-to-day and go towards the direction that your business wants to. And that's really all I had today. I know we squeezed a lot into 30 minutes. We'll have a nice survey question. Dave, I don't know if you got any questions or if we want to respond more directly, but ultimately I want to thank everyone. I really do appreciate you jumping on today. You can reach out to David or myself directly. We'd be happy to field a call with you. But ultimately, I do appreciate the time. I know everyone's busy.
Yeah, we had a couple questions, but we can direct those individually after this conversation because I know we are up on time, and we have one last poll question before we send everybody off on this great Thursday. So I guess we can knock that out, Jeff, and then we'll be following up with everybody, of course, for those RevHub gift cards, as well as scheduling some time here to discuss some of the solutions that we discussed here today.
Absolutely. David, thank you. Always a pleasure, my friend. And thanks everyone for joining. I really do appreciate it. Hope to talk to you guys soon.
All right, everybody. Take care. Thanks, Jeff. Talk to you soon. Bye, guys.
Yes, sir. Bye.